Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Cindy over at paper.old.new. I had kind of a quick mass make kind of a craft, I guess, that I thought we would do today that I was looking at when I was making those big pockets that we made with the V. See this? As the V shape, and it's like a library pocket, and I thought, why not combine the two? Because I had these cutoffs like this from some scrapbook paper that I was messing with, and I was like, what could I do with these? And I was messing around with them, and I thought that we could combine the idea of the large tuxedo pocket and the library pocket, and I thought this made kind of a cool little pocket to tuck things in. So, and if you don't glue the front piece down to if you don't glue the front and back pieces together, the two overlapping, then you can tuck something in the front there too if you want to. I mean, it's not technically a separate pocket, but I suppose you could use it as a dividing spot to tuck two things in there. But anyway, I just thought that I would show you what I've been messing with and how I've been doing these. I had some scrapbook paper and I cut it up and I used it to make this one. And as you can see, I inked the edges of everything with, you know, just the typical vintage colors that we use, the brown. And then I have this drawer full of, excuse me, you know, colored inks. And I thought, and oxides and stuff, and I thought, what if you didn't always use the obvious brown? So here I made with the same paper, this one, and I inked it in green, which I thought turned out kind of nice. Now this was, no, it's not still wet. That distress oxide stuff takes longer to dry. I know it's not water-based or whatever. I used this on this one, Rustic Wilderness. So I thought it might be kind of neat to try doing it with some other colors. The other thing, after I made this, because this was two 12 by 12 pieces of scrapbook paper, and as you can see, they're kind of floppy because it's not cardstock, it's paper. I was going through my mat stacks. I have, look, I mean, cards. I have mat stacks, guys, tons of them. So like index cards, I went through and I sorted them. I sorted them into stacks based on how many of the pages I had left. Because usually the mat stacks will come with 3 of every pattern. And for some of them I've used them. So like this stack still has all 3 of all of these patterns in it. And this is more, I guess, pretty vintagey paper. And then this is a stack of mixed different kinds of paper because I have some colorful ones here at the back. But these don't have 3 left. So depending on what kind of projects I want to do with them, I just wanted to make sure that I remembered that those I don't have a full set of. And then I went through and I did my fun papers. Now these, I mean, you can make them out of these kind of papers because I have all of this from making kids books, right? So you've got all this kind of paper. And some of it I really like and some of it I really don't. Okay. Now, the idea, of course, is to do something like this. So basically what ended up happening here is I took 2 of each pattern. And what you end up with, if you take, so I had 2 of the airplane cards and 2 of the zigzag cards. And if you cut, these are actually 4.5 by 6.5, all these mat stack cards. I cut 2 inches off of one card. So here's the little 2-inch pieces, and I held on to these to use as tuck spots or pockets or whatever down the road. And then you take the 4-inch or 4.5-inch square that you have left, and you cut it on an angle to get your triangles, right? Okay. So I thought we would make some of these. Now, as you can see, I inked this one in red, and I inked this one in, I think it's called Campfire. It's an orange color. I was just having fun with the colored inks. I just thought it would be, you know, kind of a neat idea to ink them in something other than the everyday brown that we always use. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just thought I would try something different. Okay, so what I thought we would do is make a few of these. Now, just to give you an idea of what I was talking about, I go through the stack. So, like, there's 3 sheets. Actually, this stack, there's 4 of these. Are there 4 of all the patterns or just that one? Oh, I got an extra of that one, guys. I kind of like this. This looks very retro to me. So maybe we'll use this just so we don't have to go through the whole thing. And this. What do you think? Like that? And we'll make a couple pockets out of that. Okay, now, the first thing I did was these all got ripped out of a mat stack. So they have this kind of, I don't know what you want to call it, a salvage edge at the top. It's where the glue attached to the paper. So even though these are about 6.5, it doesn't matter how wide they are unless you have a specific width for a journal that you're trying to get to. These are 4.5. This one is going to be a little less than 4.5 when I'm done with it. So I'm just trimming off that little strip of the glue. And then I can go ahead and turn this one because one of these has to get cut and I want to take a 2-inch strip off of it. Okay. So that's my 2-inch strip and here's my 4.5 by 4.5 inch square for that kind. And I'll set the strip aside to use later down the road. One of them stays whole, but I do want to take off that little strip of glue. So we're going to take this off of here. Okay, now we'll do the same thing with this pattern. These are really easy, and if you don't have to do all this trimming, they're kind of fast. But with the trimming, to trim down the size, I would say this probably is what takes the longest, is getting the paper trimmed to the sizes that you need. Set that aside. And the only reason this has an extra step is because, like I said, it's got that glue edge. And if you're not worried about that, you don't have to take this step. I mean, obviously it's, you know, entirely up to you whether or not you trim off the glue edges. I just was sitting there as I was pulling these mat stacks apart. I was picking the glue off the edges because it was bugging me. Oh, wait. And then I usually just take these and set them in here catty corner. Put one in, swing the other one over, and hope that my trimmer behaves. Because sometimes it likes to pull. And I just... Okay, so now what you do is, this is basically, I mean, this is the easy part. So for this one, I would put this down on the paper first. I like to put the opposite pattern down first just to break it up so that when you put this one on top, it kind of has a break between itself, for lack of a better word. I mean, you can do it this way so that this blends into your background and then you put this one on top. I mean, that's obviously, you know, you could do it either way, whichever way you like it. The pocket still works. I just like to bust it up a little bit and set the patterns apart. So I would do the same thing here, except for this time, this one would go down first. And then this, right? And there you have, I mean, it's pretty much done. You just take your glue and glue your edges. Now, when I did these, I just glued the right angle edges. So I only glued the outside edges. I did not glue the top flap to the bottom flap. You could close that off and make it so that, oh, and if you're going to ink your edges, you should probably ink them before you glue. Okay, now sometimes when you trim these up, especially since we trimmed off that little glue edge, I am not gluing on my glue mat. Guys, I do not want glue all over my cutting mat. I had to get a new glue mat, guys. My other one just finally, I mean, there wasn't anything wrong with it. It just was gross. Okay, just make sure you have all those edges lined up and then glue the other one down. As you can see, these come together really quick. And you can do a lot with them as far as how you put them in your journals. So you can glue them down on a journal page as a pocket themselves. So I can glue it. Sorry. You know me, guys. I can't concentrate on gluing and talking. It's like walking and chewing gum. Isn't that what they say? Okay. Now, obviously, I can go back and ink those edges. It's just I have to wait till the glue dries so I don't pull the pieces away. But then I would take this little piece off and this little piece off. Like I said, they don't meet up just because I had to cut off that I cut off that glue edge. And then I like to round my top corners. And there you have it. Okay, so let's try this one and we'll ink it. Let me get, let's see, what should we use? I have pink Victorian Velvet. Let's try that. I haven't used that yet. I told you guys in one of my videos, I use the alcohol ink felt. I haven't gone out and bought any, or I haven't gone out and bought enough sponges to do different colors yet. So the alcohol ink felt is what I got to work with at the moment. Okay, so we'll ink these up. I will say this, that oxide goes on like, and these kind of kid papers, or that's what they were kid packs. They have glitter on them. So I'm sure you can you see that? I don't know if my light reflects off of everything, so I would assume that you can see that there's glitter there, but I don't know. And so these ones are kind of, shiny and sparkly. And obviously when you're done making a bunch of these, depending on where you end up using them, these kid paper ones, I am making stuff out of this kids paper because when I do finally do little golden books, I feel like some of this paper will be a lot of fun in those books. So that's the biggest reason why I've been taking these mat stacks and making things out of them, because I'm like, well, when I get around to actually making the little golden books again, I want to have stuff in my stash that will go in there too. I mean, not just the other themed journals, but the little golden book journals too. And I don't think I lined that up right. Guys, did I tell you I went to the store? I don't know. And I needed new glasses. I wear, cheaters, magnifiers, reading glasses that you just buy at anywhere, actually. And I went to the store where I usually get them in large packs. And I forgot totally. I was Christmas shopping and I just didn't even... I just didn't even think about it. was too busy worrying about getting all the stuff I needed for Christmas, and I did not even pay attention. I don't know when you'll be seeing this video, but when I'm making it, it is just after Christmas. So, okay. All right. And then we round these corners because, like I said, I like them. To me, that looks finished. It looks intentional. Whereas, I don't know, when I don't round off the corners, sometimes I feel like it looks like you missed a step. I mean, I'm not saying that that's... I have also heard people say that rounding off bottom corners on like tags and stuff helps them slip into pockets better. So I might start doing that. Anyway, so there's that one and this one. And so it's a lot of fun. You just take two of the same and you get two different pockets with the same paper. Now, that's some with the kind of kid. You can also do, so I have these. You can also do where you just take this. Again, I'm going to cut off the salvage, the glue edge. I call it salvage. I learned that that's what the fabric one is called, and now that's what I call all this excess. I know that's probably not like a correct use, but it's... All right, and this is going to be the tops of my pocket. So I'm going to cut this with the two. Whatever card or whatever paper that you're using as your pocket tops, that's the one, as if you're using these matte stack cards, that's the one you need to cut the 2-inch bar off of, obviously. Okay, so now I have another little tuck. And then we're going to cut this one corner to corner. And this one will be very simple because all I'm going to do with this one is take the same paper and put it down like that. So you can make them like this so that they're not... Actually, I think this dusty pink will look good on here. I'm going to do a little pink dusty on these pockets. And I just thought that having a whole bunch of these, and then now obviously I can then take and make coordinating cards out of the third piece, or I can, you know, just find another piece of coordinating paper that I really like and make a card out of that. That fits in these pockets. The nice thing about it is, having made them out of these 4.5 by 6.5 cards, if I cut, I'm pretty sure, I don't know for sure, I haven't done it yet because I've only done the pocket making. I haven't actually made any cards to go in these yet. But I think that if you took 1/2 inch off of either side, actually the height really wouldn't matter unless you just didn't want it to be the same height as the pocket. If you took 1/2 inch off of the 4-inch side, the 4.5 inch side, it would probably fit down in this pocket perfectly. That 1/2 inch is probably all the room you need to make it slide in and out of this pocket easy. Okay, so we're going to put this one here. And these, of course, will be a lot easier to glue down, if for no other reason than there's no glitter on them. So they just kind of go down flat. Okay. And then the other one. So like I said, the only thing I use for this is if you've got a lot of matte stack, you could also use decorated index cards for this. I mean, and like I said, the original ones I did, I cut down scrapbook paper. I just cut pieces of scrapbook paper, and actually those I cut to 4x6. So that's why they are, like if I pull one of those first ones I showed you, they're smaller. Because I just cut the scrapbook paper to 4x6 and then used it like that. So, and if you can hear tinging in the background, my craft area that if you've watched my video, behind me is the pellet stove in our basement. That is our heating assist. And also just the heating in general for my boys room is down here they live down here in the basement, and the heat doesn't get down here, so we had to. Okay, so there's that one. And this one was made again with just the same paper, so I didn't use two different papers on this one, or I didn't use the other card I had from this. So there you have that one. Now, I wanted to try, and maybe you guys can come along for the ride. I have a couple more of these that I thought I would try. I'm not sure what I was going to do with this one, because this one is a little trickier. I think I was going to use that as the background. Here, I'll show you what I was going to do with that in a minute, because that's going to take some doing. Okay, so for this one, I was going to use 3 different pieces. So this is going to end up giving me all kinds of extra cutoffs. So this is going to be my background. This is black background with gold. They're little fleur-de-lis, I think. They're very tiny. And having it go up and down this way, they're on their sides. But I could use this as the background, I guess. Because the moths, it doesn't really matter. Actually, I might do that. I might use that as the background. These ones don't have as much of a glue edge, although this particular piece does. I wasn't going to trim these because they're not as bad. Okay, so we're going to take the 2 inches off of this. I'm collecting up all these little 2-inch cards, and I'm going to take 2 inches off of this. Okay, so there's that. And this one, I'm hoping. Yeah, okay. So even though the words and stuff are sideways, I still like that. So when I put it on here, it's going to be sideways, but I think that's going to look okay. And look, this one has a bird. So, oh my gosh. I can make for Pete's sakes, a corner of that. Guys, I'm telling you, I'm fried. Okay, we're going to cut this one. And this paper is all, and again, I have another corner, so that'll go over there. This paper is all black, as you can see. So I'm not going to ink any of these. We're just going to glue these down because I don't really think inking will do any good. I honestly don't think it'll show up. So I'm not going to waste the ink. So this one is, I thought we would do an example of one where we did 3 different. Right? So, oh, my fleur-de-lis are upside down. Maybe I'll do it this way. At least they're sideways. Or can I do it this way? No, because I will make my butterfly upside down. My fleur-de-lis have to be upside down, guys. Oh, well. I'd rather them upside down than the butterflies and the words. The butterflies and the words are already going to be sideways, so I don't want to press my luck. So yeah, so there's one with 3 different pieces, 3 different papers. Oh, let's round the corners. So as you can see, you can make these, if you've got enough coordinating paper, you can make these with all kinds of different, it allows for your pocket to be all kinds of different. And then if you want to embellish it further, obviously, you could go for it. Something I wanted to try, let me see where we are. We're not doing too bad because I have 4 pockets over here I want to make. We're going to combine kind of because I want to make some pockets for for the sunflower journals we're working on. All right, for this one, I want to use the corners of this page for both the pockets on this. So we are going to mark this one. I need this to be, what have we been doing those? Take off 2, 4.5, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4 at the 11. So I need this here, like that. And then I'm going to flip it over because I want this corner. 1, 2, 3, 4 at the 11 again. And I'm going to try my darndest to cut these right, which I might not want to try on the cutter. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut this. I'm going to cut this with my, so I want to cut it like this. From this dot, oh, I almost have that lined up on the line. From this dot to that corner. Just like that. Doesn't really have to be up on a lined up on a line. I just need to line up the dot and the corner. Okay, let me get my cutter. And that's one of my corners. And then this one, we do the same thing in the other direction. So I need to line up the dot and the corner, and we can get this little corner with the fairy on it. I picked this paper because it had a corner decoration, and I was like, oh, that would make for a fun piece. Okay, and again, this is an odd shape, but you know, I saw somebody doing angled belly bands, so I'm going to keep that. All right, and here we go. So we're going to put this down, and I think maybe I will ink it with the pink. Get my glue mat back down here. Get my pink stuff back down here. I like this pink. It's actually kind of a dusky rose. It's called Victorian Velvet. So, I mean, if anybody's interested. It's not an overwhelmingly bright pink, which I think is what I like about it. It's kind of a mauve or a rose color. And like I said, I like the idea of inking with other colors. I find that, you know, I collect all this ink in these really cool colors, and I'm like, I should use it. I mean, what's the point of getting all this ink if you're not going to use it? So I thought she was really cute. The little fairy. And this paper, again, this is from, the pad was called Once Upon a Time. I don't know if any of you, I'm not sure. I think it's from the same people who make the Mariposa pad, which, if I'm not mistaken, is that DCWV or VW. I'm always forgetting. I know some of you know what I'm talking about. They make really cool paper. I mean, so, but yeah, this was a Mariposa pack, and is what the pocket we just made with, that was all black background papers. Those are from the Mariposa pack. It's all butterfly themed paper. It's gorgeous. If I go online and find that it's still like, because I've had it for a couple years. So if it's not something that's been discontinued and I go online and find it, I'm going to order some more. Okay. So I don't know what that's from. All right. So we got that. And but yeah, I really love that paper. And I like the Once Upon a Time paper too. So like any of these pads, now that I'm doing this junk journaling instead of scrapbooking, it would have been a one-time use and I'd have been okay with it. But now, like, I see it and I'm like, oh, I want to make a whole bunch of pockets out of that. Or I want to make this out of that. And I want to make this out of that. and I want to use the papers for pages, and I want to use, and it goes on and on and on, because you get so many ideas and there's so many different places you can use it. And remember what I said about there not being as much glue on this one, on the edges? I lied. Okay. Oh, I really like that one. Okay. Now, I am sure that this Tuxedo library card pocket thing is probably not a new idea. But when I started making them and they were so easy and fun, there's another one. I was like, I should like show people how easy these are, especially if you have, and I'm not going to be using any more of this pink, because the next group of these I want to do, first of all, I'm probably going to ink it with the walnut stain after I finish saying. Okay, so this is some that I cut. I cut a piece of cardstock that I had into 4x6 cards. So since these are 4.5 by 6.5. I think what I'm going to do. Okay, so what we're going to do then is I think I might cut some of these into triangles. I might use these as the backs. So this and this will be 3 of the backs. The yellow might end up being a back for whatever I do with this green paper. So these are backs, which means I need 3 of these triangles. And what I think I'll do, still going to save those, is put the yellow triangle to the back. And that way, if it comes up short, the other one will cover it, right? The other one will also be taller, by like 1/2 inch taller. All right, we're going to go back to the original plan. I might still need these though. All right, don't worry. No fretting, I have some more back here. I'm going to cut some more like this just in case. I ended up making, because when you cut 12 by 12 piece of scrapbook paper into 4x6 cards, you get 6 of them. So I have the 4 I need, plus 2 extras, which I'm going to make triangles just in case. Now, another thought I had was, if we take the ones that we have more than one of, so this has to be cut down and made into, all right, let's do a 2. Am I off? No, I'm not. Okay, like that. And then we're going to do, sorry guys, this measurement thing came at me. I wasn't even thinking about it when I made the cards out of the scrapbook paper. I didn't even stop and think about the fact that the matte stacks are 1/2 inch bigger. So yeah, so we have a couple of triangles of that. Let's make our triangles of each of these, and then we'll try and piece together cards and see what we get. I wanted to make some of these pockets for our sunflower journals. I don't know what I'm going to do about the one with the Knights background because I don't have another one of those. So we'll have to hold off on that one until we figure out what we're doing with all the cards. And then if I... You're not actually supposed to know it's a knight for this purpose. I just know there's a knight in that picture. I don't know if you can see him on a horse. I wasn't really concerned with that. What I was going for was the colors. So the greens, yellows, and browns obviously go with the sunflower theme, which is what I was going for. Okay. So if I use these as a background, that's going to need a lot of trimming. Now, having said that, if I put that over top, see how it's way higher on that side? I was thinking the bottom, it would be okay because the bottom would cover up, but there's also a huge discrepancy in height. Well, a 1/2 inch discrepancy in height. So the other thought I had was, what if I did this and then this, like a double corner? Those may be kind of fun. And actually, you could mix them up. So like if I have the green one, maybe I put this paper on it and then put the yellow on it. Like that. I don't know, guys. I should have cut these. Actually, I still can. So if I go like this and I line this up, I think I'm taking 1/2 inch off. I think. Yeah, thereabouts. So let's just do that, and then I can use these cards and use these as the backgrounds like I wanted to. Okay. So now I can make this pocket like that. Actually, I might do it like that. I know I said the background, I pop them apart, but with the inking, that'll be apart, and I kind of want the whole accent one to show. Okay, we're going to do one of these. Best laid plans. Isn't this like every single time we sit down to make crafting videos, something goes awry? Okay, now that I've done all that, I need these. I need this. I need these. I don't need this. So we're going to put that over there. I'm going to put that over there. I'm going to put this over here. I'm trying to organize so that I have all the stuff. I don't need that. I don't need that. And I don't need these. I'm going to put these away. There. Now. Organization, sort of. Okay. No. I need the small one, not the big one. Okay. All right, so here's my pockets. Let's get out our walnut stain and start the inking process. So I'm going to ink the slant edge of all the pockets. So, and I'm using this darker brown because I feel like it goes with the sunflowers really well. Okay, so let's glue all of these down. So we have our 4 bases. So we're going to go around and glue all of these down. Make sure I don't have anything that needs to go in a specific direction. So like this one's going to go on this side, so this one goes on this side. This is kind of taking advice. I mean, we made more than just the 3 that she usually advises that you make. But I was watching, I watched Gail, and she gives the advice whenever she finds a new pocket or a new piece of ephemera that she finds that she really likes. Anyway, she says to make 3 of something. So you make 1 to put in your stash, until you can get it, I guess until you can get a chance to make more of them. You make one as a prototype to put in your idea book, and you make another one for whatever project you are working on at the time. So taking that advice, I showed you the ones I had made ahead of time. And I made like 3 or 4 ahead of time. 4, I think. I showed you, and then we made some together, different kinds. And then we made, and now we're making some for a project that I'm working on. Now, the reason it's not just one is because I'm making these sunflower journals in a group of 4. And they were from a party kit that I found when I first started hauling my very first trip to Goodwill. I found this party kit and it had 4 placemats in it. And I just put that on the wrong side. So that's going to be this one. See what happens when I talk instead of paying attention to what I'm doing? It'll be the only odd man out. But it had 4 placemats in it. So I said, well, why not? I'll make a group of sunflower journals. And we have. And I have recorded, don't do it again, I have recorded 3 videos so far. At the time of filming this, none of them are up. So I don't know. I don't know where we'll be by the time you see this. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead, even though this is brown, it's got light spots. So I'm going to go ahead and ink the edge of this one. And the whole point of these all being different, because I purposely dug to find 4 different papers that would fit the theme the way I wanted it to, which was basically with the patterns. None of them were sunflower patterns, but I wanted them to fit color-wise. And so I purposely went through looking for 4 different papers that would work, or 4 different of these 4x6 matte stack cards that would work, because I'm making 4 journals. And while the covers are the same, I'm trying to make the insides of the journals somewhat different. So they're going to have the same stuff in them. That just is for ease of mass making. But they are all going to be different. So the pages are, there's the same pages, like there's like 4 scrapbook pages in each one, I think, or 3 or something like that, but they're different in each one. Same with these. So each one of these pockets going into these journals is different. So no 2 journals, even though they are having the same, like they all have a sheet of wax paper in them, and they all have a sheet of coffee dyed paper, and they all have a sheet of RIT dyed paper green. They all have some vellum. Not that the vellum is colored, and 2 of them are blue color and 2 of them are yellow color. So, you know, I tried to vary it. They all have sheet music, different sheet music. They all have... So anyway, I'm not going to stand here and do a table of contents with you, but I'm trying to make them the same but different. I'm sure all of you have done something similar and understand exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, now this one, these should show up really nice. And obviously, if you wanted to, you could, I think I said this earlier, you could embellish these pockets and make them, you know, add some decoration to them, or, you know, whatever. So that the only thing decorating them is not the tag or card or whatever you stick in here. What is thrilling for me when I come on and I make these videos with you guys is the fact that I am, like I've said in a couple of my videos now, I'm stash building. I should keep those clean. Now I can have a clean pair. My son got me pretty scissors. Those will be my clean pair. And then this pair that cuts things that have glue on them. Okay. And but because we made so many of these pockets, I can tuck these in a little, you know, a little box and have them for future journals, future projects, future, it's future ephemera, which to me is exciting because having made a journal and had no prepped ephemera, it was hard. I know I keep talking about it. I should, you know, it's not trying to be, I'm not complaining. It was just a lesson in, you know, what it takes to put one of these together, and definitely what it takes to put one of these together if you don't have any stuff ready. So, you know, and I would listen to everybody talk about, you know, pulling stuff. And even when I watch videos, you guys would craft and you would pull stuff out of your stash. And I was like, oh, I need a stash. So here I am, stashing. All right, we're going to round all the corners. This is more of my assembly line. Notice how I did all the yellow pockets, and then I did all the accent pocket, or all the accent sides, and now I'm doing all the corner rounding. And then I will do all the inking. All right, guys. So there are the ones I'm going to be using in the sunflower journal. So we have those 4 for the sunflower journals. And we'll just take a quick look at all the ones we made. Here were my prototypes that I made before I came on. So these were the ones I started with. These were the first ones I made. And this is just scrapbook paper. As you can see, it's very floppy. So I have those. And then I started using, I got the idea to use the mat stacks, and I separated all the cards and I put things together, and I found some coordinating papers that I liked, and I put these cards together. And like I said, these kitty papers I think are going to be a lot of fun to have for golden book journals. So then we made some more out of the kid paper. This one I'll have to ink, because I do like them better inked than not. They don't have to be inked, but I personally like them better that way. And then we did, so these all had the 2 different patterns, one below to break up the same. And then we went and did one that just had a background and a pocket pattern, all one. And this one was all one, but we took the corners specifically. And then this one had a background paper and 2 front papers. So as you can see, there's a variety of ways that you can make these, and they make tons. And they came together really quick. So minus the measuring issues, it would have been quicker than that. But I hope you guys like this idea. I hope you guys enjoy making these. They go together really quick, and they're a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to using them. So I will see you guys in the next video. Come craft along with me again. Bye-bye.